welcome back. Anybody who's keeping up with my series, thank you for coming back for the fourth. Is it the fourth? Yes. I've only done 4 and I'm already getting confused. Can you imagine when I do a few more? It's going to be great fun. Yes, so this will be my 4th in the Tashlan Looks series where I'm looking at Creativerse, or at least what I've done on one of my Creativerse worlds. We did my main hall and all the storage areas and that sort of thing, and we've also done my treehouse. So I think I was trying to figure out a way to showcase everything else, and also trying to see how things will fit in. I'm probably just going to end up winging it because that's what I do. I've also off camera been trying to do a little bit of work in fixing up my elevator system. I've put in a whole bunch of switches and no, not switches, number pads and number recognition pads, and I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be so much fun. And this is a little bit of the plan. You see, I put the codes in there. You know, if you press in 1, then you'll get to the top floor, which is where we are now. If you press in 2, that's the living area, which is the floor beneath. Probably backwards to how most floors go. I'm aware of that. This is how my brain works. I still write checks backwards, date first. So bear with me here. And 3 would be for the storage area, and 4 for the surplus storage area. Did a lot of working on, well, in order to make this work, I'll need to get it to do this, so it switches that on and switches this on, puts that off. And so far, the best solution I've come up with is use the ladder. Yes, that is the best possible answer I have come up with so far. But I say so far because it is a work in progress. It is going to take me a little bit of a while for me to get my head around how everything works, but I'm a bright girl. I'm pretty sure that I will figure it out. I'm just needing that little bit of extra time. And I thought, well, I don't want to spend all my time doing this and then forget to do a recording, for example. So it is something I'm working on and figuring out and trying to think, well, it may sound simple, but it's more complicated the more you try and work within the confines of what you've been given. I actually like the fact that it's complicated and that it's a puzzle. This is something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy being presented with a problem and then trying to find a novel solution or any kind of solution. So I'm enjoying it. It's just taking me a little bit of time. I'm sure any of the other people who've been working with the electronics in this game are going to agree with me and sort of, it's fun when it works, but it's frustrating when you're trying to get it to work initially. So we'll leave that as it is. Just know that stairs are always a good option when all else fails. Or ladders, I should say. Yes. First place, I was looking at all of my teleporters and looking around, trying to think what's the best way to do my little tour of my builds. And I've realised that I might as well just start at one end and work all the way around. And we'll see how far we get with each look through. So we're going to start at my windmill cottage. We're not viewing them in any particular order. This is not in order of build, order of preference. It's just this one is the first one on this row. Simple as. So we'll just zip on through and wait for it to load. That block that's spinning there, I do not have that. I do not have the recipe for it, and I haven't found the recipe for it. But I will be really happy on the day that I do find it, because I think it's really pretty. But here we are. This will actually be, we'll probably get to see 3, I'm trying to remember, yeah, about 3 builds in this area, because I kind of set it up to be a little bit of a farm. I kind of thought that it worked within this setting. We've got savanna over here. We've got, you can see what looks like little palm trees. I think they're called shore woods. Shore woods, yes. And over there is jungle. So it's kind of a nice confluence of biomes. And me, very, very rare do I use anything made with iron. Simply because iron I've found to be quite difficult to get hold of. So I use it sparingly. It allows me to be a bit creative with other things. I mean, this path, it is just made out of these blocks that I've turned sideways, and I think, you know, it works, so go with it. Everything here, it came with the blueprint. This was one of the ones that I built. See, now I'm trying to think. Yes, this is one that I built when they brought in the new blueprint system where you can actually buy the kit as well. And yeah, lazy bum that I am, I bought the whole kit and caboodle. And I thought, I'm just going to plonk this down somewhere where I want it to be and have the sheer joy of just building without having to worry about collecting resources, stacking up the resources. Sheer joy of building, and that's what I did. So you'll take a little wander around, and you can see it's lots of flowers, and it's so pretty. And then I'm not going to be able to avoid combat all the time, am I? Well, maybe I am. Maybe he's going to wander off, but no, I want to be there. Come on, Mr. Pigsy. Oh, grr, yes. You're very scary. Not. Right. So I take it that these are shredded leaves, and I suppose they're representing here hay bales. Does it work with a windmill? Yeah, I think it does. So, well, this has got a very strange sort of way of accessing everything, but I will leave other people to draw conclusions about whether it's good or bad. I don't mind because it gives lots of little nooks and crannies to explore. Lots of bookshelves here, and I'm presuming that this is meant to represent the mill mechanism with the mill wheels, so this would be somewhere where you'd be grinding your grain into flour, which is why I think that the hay bales kind of make sense, because it's that kind. It gives you that kind of impression that this windmill is used for grain and isn't used for anything. Would it be used for anything else? Nowadays, we use wind power for other things, don't we? And then you've got this little... Could it be a dining area? I don't think it's got a kitchen area, but you know, a little dining area, or just you've had a hard day, sit down, have a nice cup of Java, sorted. And then when you want to rest your little weary head, pack away your belongings and bloop into your little bed. I kind of didn't mean to do that, but obviously I needed a nap. Don't you ever need a nap? It does mean I've made it night time now. It's the night. Woo. Let's go up into the top half. I do find it a little unusual. I won't say it's right or wrong, so I don't think it's either right or wrong. A little unusual that you'd have to leave one area of the building, go outside essentially, to go to another area of the building. Possibly it's to create a division between the downstairs area sort of being a little bit of a living area. But if that's the case, then you wouldn't have that working mechanism thing that they've got going. So I'm not sure, especially as this seems to be primarily, if you can see at least this area, almost just attic-y. So I can't see any reason why you wouldn't have even a ladder, even this ladder, going all the way through in the building. It might be something that someone would build this and then think, well, they're going to modify to change that. But this here is then when you're trying to then represent the can't think of the word. The axle, would that be an appropriate word, I wonder? The actual mechanism that will hold the sails and start everything turning. So yes, a bit difficult to represent that in square, but I think that the designer did a good job there. So down again. So that's pretty much the interior. So it's a compact little build. Very pretty to look at. And I do like, it's boing over here, how the sails look. I was thinking that possibly if you wanted it to look more like cloth, that you would probably, instead of going with what they've done here with the iron fence, go with the stone fence because of the lighter colour, and then instead of the cragwood, maybe go with like limestone wall, or even with salt, or even limestone columns to make it look sort of more fabric like. But I actually like that. Oops. Let's have a quick look at the sky. Why not? I can hear, oh, it's you little shrew. I really find that word hard. Okay, well, while we're here, we might as well look at another one of my builds, another blueprint build. Oh, I can't speak tonight. What is wrong with me? This is the barn. Now, it's clearly modelled on what I would say like an American style barn. Nothing wrong with American style barn. I actually really like this. I like that you've got these little outside pens, and when you go inside, you've got all these little inside pens. It's got a good feel to it. You go up these stairs, tuggety. You've got, you know, all of the hay that you'd be feeding your animals with. And then you go down the stairs, tuggety. Yeah, not much I can say about that really. And then there's out here. And I did make a modification to this, and I'll show it. Nah, it's not that one. I wonder if it's symmetrical. So I wonder if it's on the other side. Yes. If you see here, this bale, as I'm going to call it, is next to the fence, which means that if you put a pet in here, your pet can jump up on the bale and can jump into the other pen. That's not a problem. But what happens when they jump on this bale? Well then, thanks very much. I'm free. Yeah, I discovered that when I discovered that, there you go, see, here he is illustrating it perfectly. I discovered them entering each other's pens, and I realized I'm going to lose one if I'm not careful. I mean, I suppose if I'd put a fence or a gate here, then all I'd end up is a pet over here. And the pets can't really escape because I have fenced it all in around here. But I kind of think if you've built an enclosure for an animal, that the animal should stay in the enclosure. You shouldn't have to build an extra enclosure and then maybe, you know, a third one just in case. Are we going to have a stare off? Ooh, nasty. I don't like you. No. Yeah, this is me making my own mini game. Creativerse minigame 101. Staring off a night hoglet. No, it's a night pixie. Ooh, even better. You see, this is where it gets a little bit unfair, because I can be a bit cruel and I can kill him when he can't kill me. Why did I go to sleep and make it night? Now all the creatures want to attack me. Come on then. If you think you're hard, come on. Come on. Ha ha ha. Yeah. You too. Ooh. I actually didn't mean to do that, but I clearly needed a potion. Yes. Enough messing around. So, that's the barn. Woohoo, lovely barn. Actually, I really do like it, and I like the red and the white together. It's almost candy stripe. Yeah, I like it. I'm going to go a little bit further away to see if I can show you some of the features that you don't normally see. Oh, hello, Miru. Yes, there. These little finishing touches here. Things that if you're utilizing a building or even just pretending to utilize a building that you don't tend to notice. But this is what I was saying earlier with the blueprints, is that... Whoa. Did I just see a Creativerse flash of lightning there? That's a first. Or was it just a lighting glitch? Ah, so it was a flash of lightning. Much more exciting, much more fun. But it's the blueprints teach you this kind of detailing. Something that you wouldn't think it's not practical. You can't see it most of the time. But when you do actually approach a building, like I would do probably if I was exploring and coming in from this height now, I would see that little detail and think, wow, that's pretty. That's something that I'm not the kind of person that really thinks about aesthetics so easily. I'm very much practical. Can I sit down on it? Can I eat it? Can I close it? I will use it. Do I put it there because it's pretty? Well, I suppose. But it's not a thought that comes to me straight away. It's something that comes to me as an afterthought. But with Creativerse, I'm learning it's these little details that make something special. Right, so now, this brings us to the third blueprint build in this area. And this is the Chisel coop. So you can come in here and you can put your chisels. And yeah, this is it. It's one of the most simple builds, I would say, and it's probably, if you're going to be gathering your own resources, apart from this expensive iron fence underneath which you can substitute, this is a very grassroots building. It's very simplistic. The problem that I have, oh look, see, this is why I love them so much. It's snoring. Fast asleep. Oh, is that adorable or what? Oh, I love them. They're my favourite. Except when you attack them and they burn. So this is one of the simpler builds One that I would suggest if you want to start off with a blueprint build, this one's the one. As far as what I was saying earlier about using things that are practical, this one isn't it. Because you can't put your chisels in here and then set them to roam or wander, because they will wander right out. There's no way of keeping them in. Yes, you would have to put in a door or a gate or a fence or some kind of restriction in here, something that's not part of the blueprint. So it's kind of presuming that you're either going to stick them in one place or you're going to add something of your own flair to this build. So that's a 3-in-1 special from me. And we're going to bounce up here. I don't know if it's because I spent most of my life in southern Africa, but I have a very, very strong affinity with the savannah. And I do like the savannah landscapes. Oh, there's lots of things down here that are coming up. They want to kill me, and then the sunlight's killing them. So Nina to you too. Leave you with this lovely view of the Windle cottage, the barn, and the Chisel coop. When next you see me, we'll be back at the main hall. I don't know whether I'll have a working elevator or not. That remains to be seen. Depends on my levels of patience and frustration, how they balance out. And we will be touring another build. But thank you very much for sticking with me, and thank you very much for all of the lovely comments I've been getting, and to all of my subscribers and everybody who watches. This is me, Tashlan, saying like, share, comment, subscribe. I love you loads. Peace out.